Hey everybody, VR Gaming Fan here. More bad news about the Oculus Rift. At Pax East they had demos set up for both the Oculus Rift and for the HTC Vive. The demo for the Oculus Rift included the second tracking camera and the Oculus Touch controllers. So this is the full setup that everybody has been speculating about what it's going to be like once the touch controller and the extra tracking cam comes out and you have all the gear. And first thing that people reported was that the lineup for the HTC Vive demo was huge, whereas the lineup for the Oculus Rift demo wasn't very big. So basically, you waited a very long time to go and see the HTC Vive, and you could only go see it once. Whereas with the Oculus Rift, because there were so few people in line, you didn't have to wait nearly as long, and you could do it multiple times if you wanted to. So that gives you an idea of the public response to the two devices. There's obviously a lot more interest in the HTC Vive than there is in the Oculus Rift, which I think is encouraging. For once, the public is making the right choice when it comes to a hardware war, as opposed to every other example in history where the technologically superior device is the one that usually loses. But reports about the actual demonstration itself, first off, even though you have both the tracking cameras and they were running a version of Job Simulator that is for the Rift, so you get a very good apples to apples comparison of the experience that you get between the two devices. For one, in Job Simulator, when you're using it with the Vive, you can move around. Even though in the demo for the Rift they were standing up, they couldn't move around. You had to stay exactly where you were standing. You could rotate in place, but you couldn't walk around. So, for example, if something was just out of your reach, you were screwed, because you couldn't move towards it. Also, the tracking for the touch controllers was really, really bad. If the touch controllers got too close to each other, the tracking would go nuts and they just start flying around the screen. If you tried to move them below the level of your waist, the tracking would go nuts. They would just completely lose track of them and then go all over the place. And I mean, this is a demo. This is set up by Oculus staff for the purposes of showing off the technology to its best effect, and they performed absolutely horribly. The tracking for something else that was mentioned is that if you've ever seen pictures of the Oculus Touch controllers, they have this loop, this plastic loop that goes over your hand, and that's where the reflective, or not the reflective, the little IR LEDs that the cameras track are in this loop that goes over your hand. Just like you see on Vive controllers, the loop is out in front of your hand, right? And it's got a bunch of sensors on it. The problem with the loop going over your hand is people who have large hands, they can't fit their hand inside that loop, so they can't use them. Whereas with the Vive motion controllers, the loop is out the end. You just hold on to basically a stick, which can fit any size hand. So there's a design flaw. But regardless of the shape or what hand you fit or whatever else, a motion tracking controller that can't track is worthless. And as I pointed out in my earlier videos, because that the direction that Oculus is focused on is a sit-down experience. Even when you get a game that has that you can stand up for, and you have multiple tracking cameras, you still can't do full room VR of any shape or form. You can't move. You have to stand perfectly still in the spot you're in, and that's it. One person who was reporting on their experience from Pax East, he brought his mother along with him, or I guess more appropriately, his mother took him to the event. And since she had to wait in line with him, she tried out the demos herself. Now, this is someone that's not into gaming. This is someone that has never tried virtual reality before, had never heard of these products before, and the only reason why she was trying them is because she was stuck in line with her son. And she tried out both the Vive and the Rift. And afterwards, she asked her son why anybody would ever buy a Rift. I mean, that speaks volumes to the experience. Also, apparently, there is a very large amount of light leakage that comes in the gap of the unit over the nose, which apparently that amount of light highlights the edges of the screen, and it breaks the immersion, because you can see that there is a screen in front of your face rather than you being immersed, and it's just basically just blackness outside of what you can see. It takes your focus away from what's on the screen and makes you focus on the screen itself. And so it makes the field of view feel less, even though it's not less, because you can see the borders on the screen. So there was that complaint. But the biggest complaint was the touch controllers just basically don't work. You have to use them in a very limited space, even with multiple tracking cameras, and you can't get them close to each other. You can't bring your hands together. Games or situations where, like I've seen a bunch of games people are working on, where you use both hands to hold a gun. Like, for example, if you're cocking a pump shotgun, or there's a bunch of them where you can hold a sword with both hands, so you can put your hands together and swing the sword like that. You can't do anything like that with the Oculus Touch controllers, because if you get them, I think they said like within 6 inches of each other, which is that's a fair distance, they completely wig out. So definitely, if you haven't made your purchase decision yet, and you are thinking about being an early adopter, definitely stay away from the Oculus Rift. Stick with the Vive. It's really disappointing how things are turning out for Oculus. I mean, they are the ones that started this whole VR trend. They showed so much promise. I was initially a huge fan of theirs, but a lot of very questionable business decisions. Even before the Facebook purchase. I mean, things certainly went downhill after the Facebook purchase, but even before the Facebook purchase, I don't know, maybe just Palmer Luckey doesn't have a great deal of business sense. He's like really good at coming up with cool ideas, but not very good at executing them. I don't know. But so far it looks like, I mean, there are other headsets that are going to be coming out, like the Fove, and things like that, and who knows, maybe they'll take over. But as things stand right now, the smart money is definitely on the HTC Vive and Steam. I'm still waiting for mine to ship out. I check my email every day. I can't wait. And I'm sure many of you feel the same way. And I can't wait to jump into VR. Talk to you next time.